Alright, let me start off by saying I have one of the 5.9 liter Grand Cherokees. I've owned it for a little over a year now, and it's given me a lot of issues since I first bought it. I've had downstream O2 sensor ripped out and it stranded me. I've had transmission issues which still go on. I've had issues where it just randomly dies, the starter's gone out, well, typical, differential leaking and whatnot, but I seem to have found myself in an unusual situation right now. It's some kind of power issue. It involves the battery, alternator, terminals. Here's a fob. Not sure if you can hear that or not, but here's the horn when you hit the lock button. It's not really cranking any power or anything. The power locks aren't working. Long story short, I get off work and I go to an Arco station, fill up my gas tank. See, the light's pretty dim. Go to the Arco station, fill up, and then I turn on the Jeep and it just dies. I know that sometimes you have to hold the gas pedal, let it idle a little bit to let the idle air control relearn itself if you leave the battery disconnected. I've had a battery issue in the past, well, at least with the terminal, so I thought, okay, I'll hold down the gas, do it, still dies, start it up a couple times, and then eventually the battery on the gauge cluster gets really low. The check gauge is light comes on. Somebody eventually jumps me because it wasn't turning over. It was clicking though. Here, let's see what it does right now. Absolutely nothing. Shift it over into neutral. It's not the neutral safety switch. But then pull out put it back into the off position, the lights turn on. This is the accessories. Attempting to turn the key to turn on the engine, nothing happens. So, so I'm driving down the street, I get about a mile and a half. The headlights flicker, and they don't just dim or anything, they actually flash bright. This is an issue I have as well. Hear that clicking? Try to turn on the headlights, nothing happens. Oh, well, you see the little dim, but we checked the fuses underneath the hood. The fuses are good. I get down the street. Looks like it's having power surges or something. Then all of a sudden, everything just dies. The engine shuts off. All the lights shut off. Power steering goes out. You see, it stops. The guy who jumped me, I got his number before, so gave him a text. He comes back and he jumps me. I make a run for my shop, and I idle at the shop for a little while to see if it's gonna die again. Drive around the parking lot. It doesn't. Make a run for home. Get home, shut the vehicle off, and then I try to turn it on, and it's giving me issues again. The lights are in the off position right now, you can't see anything. Trying to turn on the yellows, makes the clicking sound. It's even dimmer this time. Then turn on the headlights, which they are on. Try to turn on the high beams, they shut off. Let's see if I can get a look underneath the hood. My battery terminals are shot. Well, look, not only are they heavily corroded, but you can hear it. It's the neutral that's the issue. There's a lot of play. Moves around quite a bit. Well, it's not moving right now because we jammed it down there. Positive's fine. The battery's a couple years old, but I've had it checked a couple times, and it was I'm still cranking really high, and there was no issues. It does leak a little bit on the top, which is apparently normal for older batteries. I don't know, but I do keep the fluids topped off constantly. The fluids are topped off right now. At first I thought it was the alternator, but I think the alternator's fine. I just had the starter replaced last summer as well, so that shouldn't be an issue, and I don't see how that would cause the vehicle to die while idling or driving, which leaves me to believe it's either the battery is failing or it is in fact the terminal, which is heavily corroded right now. It's gonna keep doing that for a little while, and then eventually it'll stop. But you know, usually I can look up my issues, or I know what's going on, and I can kind of make a low ball fix for it. But for once, I'm actually completely clueless. I did have an issue last summer where the Jeep would randomly die from time to time, for a couple weeks last summer, but that eventually that problem went away, and I just kind of ignored it from there. But the problems come back, and it's a lot worse a little over a year later. Jeep's at about 155,000 miles. You know, oil change regularly. The transmission's still shitting out on me. I'll probably post a video about the transmission issues here soon as well. Get a personal opinion on that. But you can see the lights flickering. It's dim. The moment that we hooked up the Jeep battery to the other guy's truck to jump it, the lights instantly, the lights turned on. No flickering, no dimness, so it was getting power. Let's see if I can. Shut up, you piece of shit. Where are my keys? And I'm gonna be honest, you know, I've got a long history with Jeeps. My first vehicle was actually a 94 Grand Cherokee Limited, and then it got totaled and whatnot. It's in the accessory mode. You know, there's no power to the gauge cluster, no power anywhere. Try to turn on the radio, doesn't work. The volume on my CB isn't working right now either, because it's just getting some really weak power. So, you know, if you've got any questions or whatever, feel free to let me know. This video goes out to everybody on the Speed Freak forum and the Jeep forum as well. I'm looking for ideas about what the problem could be, and if there's going to be anything that could be relatively cheap or quick about fixing this issue. I'd rather not be, you know, risking driving away from home or getting stranded far away and then risking, you know, the Jeep not starting and me pretty much getting stranded. My big fear is it just completely dying when I'm driving in the middle of the road again. I could probably find somebody to jump me, but you know, feel free to ask me any questions or give me any advice or opinions or whatever. I'll do my best to answer anything else that you might want to know about it. But yeah, just looking for your 2 cents.